Hi, my name is Dan, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make destructible meshes in Unreal. Okay, so I'm starting from a third-person template. Here I've not got anything new added to that at all. It's just been loaded up. So if you look at some of the existing tutorials out there on destructible meshes, there may be some that are more in-depth than this, and that's great. You can look at those. Um, Quite a few of the older ones will tell you can just right click on a static mesh and choose create destructible mesh. A few versions of Unreal ago, it was taken out of the standard things that you can do with a right click, and this capability was moved into a plugin. So to do it with later versions, you need to have the plugin, and I haven't got the plugin installed or enabled for this project, so I'll show you how to do that. So if you go to settings at the top, and then there's the third one here, which is plugins, and just gonna, I happen to know it's Apex, so I'll just type that in, and this has come up, and I'm going to click enable on that. So it's going to say the editor needs to be restarted for that change to be effect. So restart now. Here we go. View of my desktop whilst it's doing it. Right, there we go. So I'm going to use the chair from the starter contents to start off with. And it's in props. And here it is. So I'm going to drag one into the world. This has not got a destructible mesh made from it yet. I'm just going to click simulate physics for this particular one, and we'll press play, and I can run into that chair and make it move about. But it doesn't break, as you would expect it not to. That's going to be my non-destructible version. So I can right click on this and choose create destructible mesh, which is the third one down. And that opens up the destructible mesh editor. It looks a little bit odd and dark to start off with. Turn around so we get a better look at this chair. Now there's various settings on the right hand side here, but the first thing that we want to look at is this cell site count, which is how many pieces do you want it to break into. And there are all sorts of ways of fracturing a static mesh, and you might have your own meshes that you want. If you want to spend time creating the individual meshes that you want something to break into, that's fine. But it has a built-in capability of splitting up meshes using Voronoi spaces. So we've got 25. What we need to do is click on fracture mesh, and that will create those broken pieces for us. So if you created your own chunks, you could use this import FBX chunks. This is showing us an explode amount. This is just for the preview. This isn't actually affecting the final thing. That's just so we can look at these pieces. Go to 0, it's still got all the pieces, but it's actually kind of put them together like a jigsaw. Okay, so that's that. Now, what we're actually going to do with this, the way we're going to use it, is we're going to use the physics to give some damage to the mesh, and for it to break when that damage is enough for that to happen. So over here on the right, we need to enable impact damage for that to happen. And we've got a damage spread, which I'm going to leave. Mouse over these to see what they do. So that's how easily damage spreads. The damage depth is about how far into the mesh the damage can go. So you can use these things to determine objects that kind of break bits off of the outside and subsequent bits. I haven't played with that. That's more advanced. And the two that I'm going to play with are the impact damage and the damage threshold. Okay, so this is how much damage you need to do to a chunk for it to actually break off. And the impact damage is how much damage is caused by the impacts using the physics simulation. Now, Unreal uses centimeters as its base length, and as a consequence of using centimeters instead of meters, when you start using forces, the numbers need to be quite high. And you might have noticed that before if you've done anything with forces in Unreal. So I happen to know that a reasonable set of numbers here is, I'm going to change this to 0.01 and change the damage threshold to 150. These two relate to each other, so if I left that at 0.1, I could change the damage threshold to 1500, and it would have exactly the same effect in the way things are going to be. So I'm going to save that, and that should be as done. I'm just going to have a quick test of that out. So I'm going to have one chair. Apologies, I have dragged off from the static mesh chair. What I want to use is now, it's created a extra asset, which is the damage destructible mesh here. So I need that one. I'm going to lift that up in the air, and so it's going to fall. And I need to remember to enable physics. Stay here. And I'm going to do another one that I'm just going to set on the ground in front of the player, and we're going to kick that into the stairs and see what happens. So let's give it a go. So yes, the chair over there is broken up. Oh, that's quite nice. Kick that. I kicked it and it fell apart as I kicked it. Let's see if we can, what happened there, it kind of flicked. See if we can try that again. No, I'm not actually being able to move it. I wonder why not. I didn't set for simulate physics for that one. So let's do it for that one. That's why it's not behaving as I expected. I'm going to push that into the stairs. Now you'll notice when it's broken down, I can't move most of these pieces around. There's one that's moving around, but most of them are kind of stuck on the ground there. These ones, they're on the stairs, so there's a bit more leverage to get underneath. I'm just going to do one more. I'm going to show you a slightly different set of values here. So I'm going to use the couch, and I'm going to do create destructible mesh. Now the couch, if you put one into the world, doesn't have a collision mesh on it. So if I put that in the world, just a normal one, and I can walk through it. Because that wasn't true for the chair. The chair already had a collision mesh on it. But creating the destructible seems to create a collision mesh at the same time. So we're going to edit this, and instead of doing 25, I'm going to up that to 250 to make a lot of pieces. So this is taking quite a bit more of time to work out what all these pieces should be, but there we go. Lots of little pieces, and once again I'm going to enable impact damage, and let's do as I said works before, so 1500, keeping that impact damage at 0.1. Save that. And let's put a couple of those in there. So I like having them full from the sky. So and I'm going to put one over here that I'm going to push up the little hill there. So I forgot to simulate physics again. So no wonder it's not falling. And I need to do that on the other one as well. Lots of little pieces. So that's not realistic, but it's fun. If I push this one off, it didn't allow me to push it off. Maybe I added too much force. If I did that, simulate physics is on. In a bit. There we go. That's behaved as I expected. And we've got that mesh we can still run through. That one we can throw around, but doesn't break. That one hasn't broken yet. I'm just going to push it into something. So there we go. That's the very basics of how to set up destructible meshes. And in these particular ones, I've just used the physics to apply some damage to make that happen. You can do it using the damage system through Unreal if you know how to do that, or all sorts of other ways. And you can set up your own destructions. As I said, you can set up things that start breaking apart bit by bit, and it propagates further into the mesh. But hopefully that's enough for you to get started. All right, so that's it from me for now.